It's a performance that got us to 3 points, so you're always happy to get that. There was phases where we were good. There were phases we could have been better. I think we played the conditions. You can't underestimate how much the wind influences the performance. And I think that was the first time a team's gone up against the wind in a half. I don't think a team's won a half against it. So for us, that was good. I would have liked us to be more clinical at times. But, as a result, we had a very good performance last week against Victory, and we've backed it up with another solid one today.
You sense that the foot was taken off the gas a little bit at points in the second half?
I think it's human nature when you're defending something, you're always going to sit off. And we spoke at halftime, we still want to play, we still want to go after them. A third goal would have definitely killed the game off. But nonetheless, we didn't concede. So, we may have stepped the gas off, or maybe we're just smarter without the ball and how we positioned ourselves.
What did you make of the challenge with Ella and Emma Ralston?
Yeah, look, obviously I've just come in after the final whistle. I haven't had an opportunity to see it. I haven't had an opportunity to speak to Ella yet. You see what you've got to go off what the referee does. So if they've deemed that a red card, they'll have their reasons for it. But I obviously want to see it as well.
2 weeks break now. Well, a week break and then next game in 2 weeks with the rescheduling. How do you sort of manage that?
I think it's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah, it's 3 weeks, and I'm not happy about it. I think the APL made a decision to postpone our game against Sydney. That was due to be this upcoming weekend. They've made that postponement due to Sydney FC not being able to source a venue in the largest state of venues. So now we've been punished. We're going to play 3 games in 6 days at the end of the season across 3 different states, which isn't fair. It compromises, I think, the run that we need to have. And it's also, most importantly, it's a well-being and a safety issue. So to have the break now might be good, but what's it going to look like at the tail end? I don't think it's going to look good. And it's something that, I'm not going to sit here and say I agree with it, because I don't. And I think it needs to be looked at. There needs to be some type of, alternative.
You voice those concerns?
Absolutely.
Had any feedback?
No feedback. No correspondence to my email.
You touched on the red card there, but you picked up 2 yellows as well. I mean, one was for a foul, but then needlessly, I thought, towards the end. Are you concerned about the number of yellow cards that you're racking up? That's 12 in the season now.
It's a good stat. Look, I think we pride ourselves on being an aggressive team. We want to play with intensity. And I think in a contact sport, it just doesn't take much to go into that yellow zone. So look, I'd much rather that than us not going into challenge and tackles. It's something that obviously needs to be a discussion towards the end of the season when the yellows can accumulate for the same player. But at the moment, I'm happy with how we compete for the ball.
Defensively, clean sheet for the first game of the season, which is obviously a good thing. And all plaudits with Kim today, but Liz Anton. That was an immense performance from her today, do you think? I
told Liz today I wanted her to be the best Kiwi on the field. And I think she liked that. And I certainly think she really stepped up, and rightly so. It was a very good performance. It was calm. It was physical when it needed to be physical. And her and Kim just have they complement each other so well. But I think the back four and the goalkeeper did very well.
So it's a bit of a blessing in disguise then, isn't it, this rescheduling? I know you've spoken about the end of the season, but at least it means you're not going to lose Liz for the game against Sydney now. So how are you going to keep the team fresh and up to speed now with this longer break coming up?
We certainly have to do something to maintain that intense load come weekends, because you can't go 3 weeks of not playing a game and then just expect to perform when we get back. So we'll play against our internal games against the boys' academy teams here. We'll make sure that we push the loading where we need to push the loading at training, and we taper where we need to taper. But we've got a very good sports science unit, and I'll be guided by them and their numbers.
Natalie, obviously it's a disappointing result for you, and you've come such a long way. How much does the travel have an impact on the team, being such a long distance, and many players probably would never have travelled that far for a game in their lives?
Yeah, I don't think there's many players in the world that travel this far. I think the guys worked it out that this is the furthest anyone in female professional football travels for an in-league away game. So we knew that the travel was going to be tough. We knew that the heat was going to be tough. we prepared as much as we could for it. Like there's some fatigue amongst the girls. There's a little bit of jet lag, but yeah, that's not really an excuse that we're willing to hide behind with the travel, because it's something that, you know, being in New Zealand, that's where we want to be. That's where we want to be based, and travel is part of it. So we've got to get used to that quicker.
Did you think the red cards were a turning point, or did you feel the damage had already been done by that point?
No, I don't think the damage had been done. I think that we got punished for 2 mistakes, which, you know, I've spoken to the team about, that we've got to hold ourselves accountable for those. And you know, I want us to play football. I want us to be able to build up. I don't want us just to kick and chase and hope to win seconds. The team buy into that. The team want to be part of that. But we need to, you know, stop making these mistakes that are leading to these goals, and start taking our chances as well. So I think, you know, if one player had got sent off, maybe turning point, job done. But if actually you look at the momentum of the game, how we responded was exactly how I wanted, and we dominated from that point, really.
Yeah, I thought the second half, there was probably, if you'd got a goal in the first 10, 15 minutes, it could have been a whole different ball game. Is that how you saw it, that you came out stronger in the second half? Yeah,
absolutely. We had a chat at half time, and we changed our formation. We went to a back 3. We felt that Perth had you know, a lead, that they didn't have to come out and necessarily get more goals. They were already 2-0 up. We were obviously not scoring a heap, so they kind of sat back. We knew they would, so credit to the players. We talked about it. We went to a 3-4-2 to see if we could cause some different problems, have possession. If you look at that first 15 minutes, like you said, a goal gets scored, then maybe it's a different ball game. But yeah, like from like a building perspective, we had more possession, we had better pass completion, we've had more shots, we've had more final third entries again than any other game this season. So we're building, and we're getting better and better and better. And game 8 in, 1 point on the board, but me and the team and the staff, we believe that we've still got 10 games to fight for, and those 10 games we're going to stay in for the fight for as long as we can. And as long as we keep sticking with our process, we believe that the outcome will happen.
Great, thanks.
The Ferns plays this week. Do you have any update on what their availability is like for your game next weekend?
Yeah, so right now all the players will be available.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I guess that's fairly minimal disruption. It's a pretty good result for you, really, in the end.
Yes, yeah. We tried to make it as minimal as possible. Obviously, the travel here doesn't help with the first game against the States. That's going to be kind of minimal minutes for the players and kind of see how they're recovering. Obviously, Rolo won't be available now next weekend, so it will probably be good for her to get some minutes against the US if she's chosen. So, we've tried to create a plan that creates minimal disruption but kind of maximum output for both the Ferns and the Phoenix. So, yeah, we're pretty happy with what we've chosen to do.